Carner, and today we are tuning worry. I'm going to start in the Earth star of the collective field around the energy of worrying and how to mitigate the epidemic that is worrying, the act of worrying in our collective culture. It's interesting, as it turns out, I try to do these videos in one take because once you sort of open up the energy on something, you've kind of worked with it. It's not scripted, let me tell you that. You just kind of open it up and work with what is, but a bunch of things happened during the recording of the first take I did on this. So this is actually my second take on worry. And it's interesting, so I've already worked in the Earth Star chakra energy center on this particular point, and it's connecting in a lot more easily than it did the first time around, as you can imagine, because it's connected. And the Earth Star Energy Center is really the place where, much like you would plug a AAA battery into the back of your TV remote, they have that little thing on the bottom and the little nibby thing on the top, and you click the battery in. We do that to the energy field when we do frequency work. And so it's a place for the collective energy to ground down and sort of have safe housing while we do the work. But it's also a way to access the infinite amount of energy that is always radiating up from the earth and being absorbed and passed through our energy bodies. Everybody take a nice big breath. Okay, so this clicked in really easily. Again, this wound up being the second take that I did on this, so this energy point was already plugged into, tuned into, and activated by the first round. But I sort of want to give the verbal information about what we're doing here to really help the mind and the energy body work together during these quick tunings. So the point of these tuning videos that I'm doing is to offer the public an experience of this kind of work. It's really hard to write about. It's really hard to market in a lot of ways because it is an experience. It's like trying to convince someone that they really need to go downhill skiing and trying to describe your experience of downhill skiing. Well, anybody who's ever downhill skied probably has some sort of similar experiences or a few words that they might put on it that are the same, but it's a very individual experience and it depends on where you are and how good your equipment is and how physically able you are to do it and any number of things. So you can't just say, oh, well, downhill skiing is this. It doesn't work that way, and tuning is the same way. So what I'm doing is offering people a quick and easy way to plug into this work and to sort of feel it and experience it and know about it in whatever way. But I'm also trying to topics to tune that are really common, that are sort of universally applicable, so that I'm not sort of tuning into something that's so esoteric or out there, or, I mean, it's already a little bit confusing to know what I'm doing, and then if I'm talking about a life experience that you have no understanding of, well, that's not going to be particularly effective. So worry, all right, everybody knows what worry is. Our brains are wired for caution, because caution is absolutely inherent for survival. The problem with worry, such on the sort of scale and pervasiveness that we have it in our cultural collective right now, it has toggled well past the point of diminishing returns in terms of survival, and has actually then kind of circled back around to the point where the amount that we worry is killing us, rather than it's like on the beginning part of the circle, it's like, oh, let's be super cautious and mindful of all these things and kind of think ahead and pre-plan so as to stay alive. And then we kind of went into the underbelly of way too much worrying, and now we're coming up to, we have leaky gut and chronic inflammation and ulcers and this and that and any number of things, all because we worry too much. Yeah, really great idea gone wrong. So now I'm plugging into the Sun Star Energy Center. And again, this is then, if you imagine the energy body, your energy body, like a Duracell battery, and you're clicking it into a remote. You click it into the bottom and then you click it into the top. So we're plugging in and activating the top energy center, which again both gives our electrical body a safe housing point with which to do the work, and also it's an access point to really receive and start to be recharged by the infinite energy source from the sun, from the cosmos, from our higher selves, from the higher intelligence, whatever you want to call it. And worry is such an interesting thing. All right, so I heard once that the differentiation between excitement and anxiety is excitement is uncertainty with the expectation of a positive outcome, whereas anxiety is uncertainty with the anticipation of a negative outcome. And so worry in that way is more akin to the definition of anxiety. You know, we don't worry, we don't often worry that we're going to win the lottery. We worry that our partner's plane is going to crash when they're coming home from the work trip, or that, you know, our kids aren't going to get into college, or whatever. We rarely worry that they're going to be handing out free samples of our favorite ice cream at the grocery store. So not only is worry being fixated on the expectation of a negative outcome, but in okay, so I'm sort of seeing worry like those rubber balls that are made out of like 575 rubber bands that you get at the office supply thing, and you can just peel the rubber band off and slowly the ball will get smaller. It's like the nugget of worry is wrapped in so many rubber bands to sort of make sure that we stay worrying. It's not really funny. I'm just sort of laughing at the irony, because the feeling that I'm getting here above the collective head is that we're worried that if we don't worry, that something's gonna go wrong. If we don't worry that something's gonna go wrong, then something's really gonna go wrong. Okay. Oh gosh, the cosmic irony of that is really striking me here. Whew, okay, everybody take a nice big deep breath. Visualizing negativity does not thwart negativity. Okay, that is a lie. Let's just blow the barn doors wide open on that one. Okay, visualizing negativity and negative outcomes does not vanquish negative things from then arriving. Okay, it's this weird Scorpio circle effect. It's like, well, I'm worried, but if I don't worry, then I'm worried that something's going to go wrong that I didn't worry about. Wow, y'all, just step out of the circle. Let's just get off that merry-go-round. Step out of the come off the carousel. Okay. Whew. Come off the carousel and take a breath. And wherever you are and whatever the weather is and however long in the future you watch this YouTube video, just imagine having stepped off a really loud, kind of hectic, manic carousel, kind of where like the horses and the elephants and all that were going around kind of had these grimaces on them. Okay, so we've stepped off the carousel. We've kind of stepped away from that really loud calliope music playing from the center speakers of that thing. And we're just going to take a nice, fresh, cool breath in and then out. And as we quiet the music and quiet our spinning from having stepped off the carousel, for the first time really we can suddenly feel the little bit of warmth on the pores of our arms and on the crown of our head, of the sun shining down on us. And just for a second, all we have to do is breathe. Feeling a lot of tightness in my chest. I almost feel like this like nervous palpitation. All right, so I'm going to got the Earth star, the Sun star pretty well activated and drawn through. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my sort of slowest fork. This is one of the lowest frequencies that I have. And I'm just going to run it over the main energy centers of the body a couple of times each in our remaining time. Really with the intention of kind of lightening the load. You know, in this little mini tuning, I'm not going to turn off people's worry switch. The point is to make a little bit of space, a little bit of room, and bring a little bit of coherence just so that we can find a little more ease, have a little bit room to maneuver, have a little bit more room, a little bit more space to even be able to catch sightline on something. You know, when you're too close to something, you don't even see it. It's like if you stopped anybody walking down the street and asked them if they knew what worry was, I can't imagine a soul that would say, no, I don't know what it means to worry. But what I don't think we have any kind of sight line on is truly how much we do worry. We have these thoughts that are so sort of embedded, and they're embedded in this like really sly way. It's really heavy, y'all. Oh, the worry. That we don't even realize that we're having the thought. It's like, what's a good example? You know, some people might actually put the words, oh, I'm really worried because my sister's sick. Okay. So those are words that you would say, and in which case you would identify, I'm having a worry thought. I'm worried about my sister. That's easily identifiable. I put that word with it. That's what I'm doing. I'm worried. But what's a sneaky example? You're going to the grocery store and you're really, really psyched to cook whatever your meal is. But the meal, the sort of one of the pivotal ingredients that really makes the dish is, say, a particular fresh herb. And the market that's closest to you always has fresh herbs, but they don't always have all fresh herbs all the time. And so you have this sort of underlying worry that they're not going to have the fresh Italian parsley, okay? Well, that's a worry thought, but you might not really think, oh, I'm really worried that the market up the street isn't going to have fresh Italian parsley. You probably wouldn't put those words on it and didn't even realize that you were having a worry thought. You might not even identify that as a spot where you worried during the course of a day. But you did. You had this negative expectation of negative outcome, that the market's not going to have your Italian parsley. So in that way, you've had a worry thought, and say it took you 20 minutes to get your grocery list together and 15 minutes to drive to the market or whatever. So you've been electrically discharging this worry thought for upwards to 40 minutes. And if somebody asked you if you were worried about anything driving to the market, you would have said, no, I'm fine. I'm going to the market, man. So you didn't even really realize that you were worrying, except you've been worrying for 40 minutes about the Italian parsley. But if somebody asked you directly, you'd say, no, I'm not worried. I'm going to the grocery store. I have to cook dinner. It's all good. Got this, you know. So it's funny how we worry and we don't even realize we worry. So the point of these little tunings is to open up just enough space that we can kind of get a sight line on something, start to get curious about it, and maybe just bring in that little bit of coherence, that little bit of harmonization. Okay, the throat chakra is like trying to lift an anvil through the air. It is so heavy. I think I said it in my first video. Really, you guys, the power of words. I speak, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. Abracadabra is from the Aramaic avra cadabra, which directly translated means I create as I speak. So the words that we say and the thoughts that precipitate the words that then come out, that makes our reality. It creates it, absolutely, undeniably. So the worries, the way we express our worries, the way that we express our worries without saying the word worry, the cloaked worries, let's call them that, the way we sneakily transmit the expectation of negative outcome, and we might not even realize we're doing it. I'm going to do a few more through this throat chakra. Let's really breathe into it. And even if you don't know how, even if you're not 100% sure, all the ways that you transmit through your voice into creation vibration, things that you in fact really don't want. Just imagine, just like I'm drawing up this fork and creating a little bit more coherence and a little bit more levity and a little bit more space. May that intention, as I talk, may I become a little bit more aware of what I'm saying around my worry. Let me notice more when I verbalize my worries rather than what I'd really like to happen. Like okay, so, one of my, from my coaching experience, one of the things I really, really liked were really super simple word substitution games. One of the quickest ways to turn a situation on its ear is to swap out one word. So if you're kind of noticing, I tend to always, I'm so afraid that so-and-so won't get that job, or I'm so-and-so afraid that I won't be invited to this party, or I'm not going to get that promotion, or whatever. If you constantly are verbalizing expectations of negative outcome or things that you're in fact worried about, here's a super simple swap. Try substituting for something rather than a worry. Say something that you want. For instance, instead of, my boss is such a jerk, and so in with the politics and trying to advance their own career, I'm so afraid that I'm not going to get that promotion. Okay, that's old form, new word substitution form. I really love my job. I really want this promotion. I'd really like the improved income. And I'd really like to move into this other department because I am so ignited by the work, and I'm really better suited to work with that team. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get that promotion, but you're transmitting that into vibration, and you're saying what you want rather than your expectation of negative outcome. Just go ahead. It's okay to want. And it's okay to not get it. If you applied for the promotion, okay, the cat's out of the bag, y'all. If you applied for the promotion, you wanted the promotion. Okay, so then to say that you want it isn't letting anybody in on some big secret. It's not going to save you from feeling disappointed inside if you didn't get the promotion. But it might, again, by transmitting something really, really positive. First of all, your life experience is just going to be better whether you got the promotion or not. But that actually might, in some way, transmit out and affect whether you get the said promotion or not. All right, so that's it for the mini tuning. We really, super topically touched on worry, but we brought a little coherence here and there. We made some opening, and now I'm gonna wrap up the field again, these videos, if you don't know a lot about energy work, and if you don't really know a whole lot about physics or the effects of frequencies on any individual cell, it's kind of hard to understand, but it doesn't matter when you watch these videos. And it doesn't matter the sound quality of the fork. Just like really using the same technology of cell phones. I type a phone number in my phone, and so I am intending my text frequencies to reach your phone, and it has to fly through all the ether and all the cell phone towers and get pinged and triangulated down, but again with intention that is encoded in those numbers, which is your phone number. My text then reaches your phone. So it's the same thing. So I asked for the collective energies to be a part of this, and again with intention, whosoever finds this video and watches it, you are now, much like a text, sort of porting into the here and now. And so you got some of the resonance, you got some of the coherence, you got some of the harmony and expansion created in this space, even if you watch this 15 years from now. So that's kind of the way frequency tuning works. Again, my name's Rebecca Carner, RebeccaCarner.com if you want more information or to reach out and get book a session or anything like that. Anyway, I hope this helps the worrying mind of a